Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. Before we start, if you want to like the video, you can do so. If you want to become a subscriber, helps us out massively as well. Another quartet, all four once again. And boys,
have we won since we got all four of them back together?
Probably not.
Someone needs to fuck off. We need to go back down to 3.
We'll have to get just the short straw every single week to say who's not coming.
Well, that would be the long straw, wouldn't it? Who's we'll do one next Monday.
What?
Or does next Monday's one depend upon what happens on Sunday?
I don't know. It depends on the state that we will be in, I would have thought.
I don't suppose I'd be back until Monday.
I don't get back until Monday, late afternoon, early.
Plenty of time.
Evening.
Plenty of time.
So I'll be here.
Plenty of time. So, yeah, boys, second time this season, we have faced a defeat. Bestie, same team, Liverpool.
Yep.
Are you disappointed?
I mean, it's weird. I'm never happy to lose a game of football, but I kind of that puts Liverpool to within 6 points of us with a game in hand. And if you're looking at we're dropping into 5th now because Spurs won yesterday as well. Looking at the kind of the hope of a top 4 finish, and it's starting to look a little bit more unlikely. Maybe I still think I've said it a few times that we could have a really rotten second half of the season and still be pretty happy with where things have gone. And I think that's still the case. I'm not too, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not that bothered really. Bigger fish to fry next weekend and all that. But yeah, it's a shame. I mean, it's just it's frustrating. It's kind of frustrating and a bit heartening that we lost the game in a 10-minute spell. In the other 80 plus, maybe I thought we were the better side. Which sounds strange to say, but I thought we played really well. So yeah, it's that's encouraging that we played pretty well, even with 10 men. Liverpool probably sat back a bit, but at the same time, I thought even before they got the first goal, we got at them loads. So Maximum caused Trent Alexander-Arnold loads of bother. Miggy had that shot that was really well saved by Alisson.
Yeah,
came off his line brilliantly, and would just look good. It was just kind of that Liverpool. I will say Liverpool cut open, even at 2-0. They kind of got over the top. There was a long ball over the top and the deep runner that caught out quite a bit. And that's a concern because teams will see that. It wasn't played in secret, sadly. So, I thought disappointed, but I mean, 17 games unbeaten in the league, it's all right, isn't it?
It's good going.
I would happily go 17 games unbeaten every season and just lose that Edward one.
No, it is. It's good going.
It's disappointing, like you say, that it was Liverpool both times, home and away, and where we have played very, very well in both games, and are probably unlucky to have. I mean, we felt hard done by obviously the first game because of circumstances that happened with VAR and the injury time and all of that kind of thing, and then, as you say, on Saturday night, we battered them for long portions of that game.
I don't think there's anyone who'll give Liverpool a game like that with 10 men, And I came away thinking, I was really proud of the performance. There was a daft 10 minutes, a stupidity 10 minutes, and a really, really, really mental 60 seconds. But the sending off hurt more than the result for me personally. I got beat. It's a game of football. It happens. I wasn't gonna lose any sleep over getting beat.
Yeah.
But the red card, I was more upset. Upset's a strong word, but you know what I mean. I was more annoyed about that because he misses the final, obviously. Yeah. And that was. I felt I came away from the game thinking about the red card more than the result. That's how I felt.
Yeah, a lot has been made about the red card, but we'll get on it just because it is a huge topic and a talking point going into the cup final on Sunday. Bestie, if we go through the goals at first, and we've already touched on it, was a mad 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, probably the worst.
12 minutes.
Well, yeah.
Was it 12?
12 minutes.
12 minutes.
First goal to the red card.
So 12 minutes of football, and we are absolutely sliced apart every single time.
It's a ball over Alexander-Arnold about 35 yards out, just chips one over the back line. Darwin Núñez gets in between Trippier and Shearer, I think. I need to see it again, I think, who to blame. But even then, it takes a...
I can't tell you who to blame.
It might be my mate here for some reason, but I don't think
I can tell you who to blame.
But he takes a pretty shite touch that comes off his stomach and lands at his feet, and it's like, oh, well, there we are. And Pope's got
there was a big shout for handball as well, obviously, because it happened quite quickly and it bounces up.
I
And
don't think it was like. I mean, it didn't get given his. I've only seen it.
It wasn't. But
so who are you blaming?
Maxi.
No, who are you blaming?
I should have just went with that for a while, shouldn't I? Though
I thought you were going to.
It would have.
This would have been our easy
comments.
Trippier and Shea, who do you say is more?
Trippier. 100%.
Trippier. My feeling was, but again, I haven't seen it that much. So
yeah, he basically the ball. Hey, and it's a fantastic ball from Trent to pick him out, but
from the halfway line.
The what Trippier is thinking is just.
Are you talking about the first goal here?
But I'm sure we'll come on to it. But he's 100%. He's at fault for both goals for me. Trippier, like
the way they were finished, like the way the moves were ended, were pretty similar for both goals. Yeah, the ball from the right.
I think both Fabian Shaw and Trippier have got a share of the blame on that one. Like,
nah, not at all.
100%.
Well, I'm gonna. There's two moments of that goal for me. So I'll agree with Chris on the side of that for the initial pass and being free. I'm blaming both. What then follows, I'm 100% blaming Trippier, by the way, because I'll come to that in a second. I cannot understand how from a ball from the halfway line you are that open. Like that is horrific. Acres. I mean, that's horrendous. That, but he took it down, and I know what Trippier thinks he's seen. I'm not blind. I can see what he's thought.
And from that angle, it may have
100%. But Bessie's right. The first touch was not great, right?
It's a poor touch,
but then Trippier halts everything. He stops and goes, it's handball, and then allows him to take almost another step, or certainly get himself composed and bang. If he just plays to the whistle, just carry on. I honestly feel he could have put pressure on him.
What he did? Was the Trippier stopped an appeal?
He just stopped. He literally almost stops dead.
He did on both. He does on both.
It got the more I've watched it, it gets worse every time I see it. As I say, the first touch comes over, which isn't a great one, and Trippier just almost stops dead of appeal. And then appeals again, and then by this time he's then set himself and bang. And I just feel as if Trippier just carried on the movement he was making, he actually would have been on him, touch tight. He might have still scored. I'm not saying he wouldn't have, but
you put that pressure on you.
100%.
Give yourself a chance,
and then,
don't you?
At the end of the day, right? Like this is what I find mad with footballers now. Right? It might be instinct. I don't know. Trippier knows there's VAR involved. There's no reason for you to stop an appeal, mate. Don't worry about it. Because if it does go in, they'll check it anyway. Do you know what I mean? There's no reason to stop like that and do that. It's just not. It's pure Stephen Taylor-esque for me, where he'd always be putting his hands offside. He's new in here. Do you know what I mean? I just felt it was poor personally. But
and just to confirm, by Stephen Taylor-esque, you mean that little motion of what he's doing? Because somebody will jump on you.
Yeah, someone will. I love jumping on people. Yes, Trippier is not Stephen Taylor. I just mean the sense of appealing in the moment.
Yeah,
I didn't feel it needed.
Especially like you mentioned with VAR being used in every single Premier League ground now.
Yeah,
it's criminal to not just let VAR. I know we've seen mistakes by VAR, a lot of mistakes, but for that sort of thing, you just, like you said, play the whistle. There's no excuse to not.
100%. I mean, people used to say years ago, you play at the whistle anyway. I mean, that's the saying, but I still think now more than ever, you know that goal, if you think it's handball, it's going to be reviewed anyway.
Yeah.
And if it's handball, they'll give it.
Well, reminder the goal Shelby scored at Sheffield United. Where
Yeah.
everyone stops, he scores, then gives it a glance.
Yeah. I know someone will probably say in the comments, but VAR, might not have given it. It was a blatant handball.
Yeah.
But at the same point.
Well, VAR looked at both of the goals for quite a length of time.
Yeah. Were you surprised how long they looked at that first one?
I was, yeah.
It was mental.
I thought because as I say, in the ground from where we were sat, it looked like it could be handball. Just obviously it happens at pace, so you don't really know. But the way that it bounced up, he did have his arm out, but clearly when you see it back,
do you know who it really reminds us of?
Hits his chest.
Joe Linton in the semi-finals.
Oh yeah,
almost identical. No, well, not identical, but the terms of it's bounced off somewhere and has it hit his hand.
It's on his side.
Really reminds us of that.
Yeah,
reminds that. But I didn't think
so. The difference was, I think VAR said there wasn't enough evidence to say that Joe Linton hadn't handballed it. And this one obviously was clear as day that after a couple of angles, you can see that he hasn't. Close, but it hasn't hit his arm.
As I said, there was just two moments in that where you're getting split apart from a pass from the halfway line. That's unacceptable. Like.
It's poor. That's really
very poor, mate. It's very poor.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like as I say on the first one with Trippier, he's basically on Núñez, and then for some reason he decides, hold on, here comes Robertson. Coming up on the left, and he completely leaves Núñez unmarked and steps back. He comes away from his man and leaves him completely unmarked. Shares nowhere near him.
Yeah, so Shea kind of come over and be the extra. Yeah,
because they're obviously looking to the Milburn stand, looking that way. So he's behind Shea, and then Trippier's there.
Mm-hmm.
He completely leaves him and goes out towards the wing because he's anticipating that the ball's going out there rather than where it's actually going.
Do you know what it is? I looked at the goals beforehand, and I think so from that left hand wing and Trippier, there's a huge gap. Trippier's more central as a centre defender.
Yeah, but then that's where he starts. He's really close to him, and then he drifts out wide.
I think you're making him drift more than what he actually
did.
did.
Watch your back.
I'm gonna have a look now.
Watch your back.
No, I'm best.
Go on, have a look.
He's very close.
Panels,
probably inside of the.
His position is wrong. I just don't think he's as far out as what you think, to be honest.
I'm telling you.
Well, I just
watch it.
Obviously, to be fair,
Mark's famous last words.
I haven't. I'll have to see it again to reference what Mark's saying.
Trippier's there. He drops out to go look after Robertson and leaves a gap.
Yeah. To be fair, not even thinking of it. Thinking in my mind now when I keep seeing the first touch, it's Trippier. It has to be Trippier's man because Shea physically can't see him.
I'll find it.
It's quite obvious. But
Bessie's looking.
I've got it on the
on his first touch. Oh, here we go.
Oh, you already got it.
It's in my history.
Your present play. Oh, here we go.
I don't see your history.
Oh, there's me mate, lad.
So watch up in the corner here and watch Trippier where he goes.
Oh, here we go. Are you sure?
Yeah.
This is a second goal, isn't it? This is a second goal, that man. That's a second goal.
Sorry, everybody. By the way, because
this must sound awful
for that one as well.
Like, absolutely sound awful. Like, even watching it, it'll be horrible. Sorry, everybody.
Free to watch, but won't let us watch it.
But this is actually what we need right now. We need some clarification.
Mark's adamant
that right now.
Matt Ritchie isn't to blame though.
The second one, I agree with you, Trippier. The middle one, it looks like we're playing with
Trippier's
three centre backs.
Well, the second one,
Trippier doesn't pick up the man.
The second one, they've got the ball.
He's got the line.
He's had the wrong goal on.
The second one, they've got the ball.
He had Collymore closing in. He was showing me. He's offside, man.
And do you know what it is, right? As much as what we're trying to blame a single player on this one, you've got to give credit to Liverpool as well because they haven't performed that well all season.
I don't think we're very good.
And they play 3 balls in the box that absolutely.
Am I right, Tucker?
Because look,
if you watch Trippier here, so he's got Nunes there, right? You see right touch take, and then watch him. Buffy runs away, and then that obviously.
He's not on the left-hand side.
I know, but he does.
No, I'm not mean he's not going from the edge of the box out to the touchline, but he's going. To be fair, going out, isn't he?
If you see him there, he's touch tight, pretty much touch tight.
He's marking him, isn't he?
Yeah, and then he drifts now.
Is that not Fabian's man though? Should that not be Fabian's man?
No, because Trippier
he's behind him.
Can see
he's
him.
On Trippier.
Yeah, the only way that if Trippier's going to make that run, he has to say Fabs.
Right.
He's got to arrange it because Shea's not.
What I will say, and credit what Chris just said there about quality from the opposition, like. Trippier's moved 3, maybe 3.5 steps to that side, and within that blink, he's found him. That is. But
I thought Liverpool were quite poor.
Individually,
you could see the quality that they've got on the bones for Bruno and all that. But like, something's not right there. Something's definitely away.
That's terrible. That one.
Like, but then those moments, the goal was really well. But their second goal, like, they've got the ball in there. I remember watching us pressing, and I thought if they pass through it here, and sure enough. It goes past like Longstaff on halfway, they turn and that's it. It's like bang, 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 crossing the Gakpo back the net. It was so they found it so easy. It was almost like they just thought I will score a goal now. There we go, and then that was that. The kind of
the movement of their front three was frightening.
Yeah, it was
and
excellent.
The pace, like Nunes, like obviously we've seen him against Everton last week for that late goal when he runs the length of the pitch. He was absolutely rapid. Salah was, Christ, I've never seen him move like that for years.
I don't like that Nunes. I don't know why. I don't, but
because he's a prick.
It probably is.
He's celebrating.
But his celebration in front of the Gallowgateshots.
His movement, that's tremendous, isn't it? Though his movement's tremendous. He's always on the move, pulling on the right, on the defender, going left, right. He's always.
That's what caused a lot of the issues. Is they positioned themselves either between the centre halves or between the fullback and the centre half. So it's difficult to then. Who needs to pick it up? Obviously, if you're facing one way and you've got the back of the man behind you, you're relying on who's behind you, picking them up. Yeah. Then obviously, if it transitions to the other side, you turn and then you'll go out and the centre half will come out and come over and pick them up. So it swaps from side to side. But it was almost as if, as I say, for both goals, Trippier was more concerned about was there going to be a pass out wide which would then cause him to now need to go out.
Yeah.
And he was anticipating, I'm going to go out now, not looking at the man in the middle for both goals.
I think that with the second goal, especially Salah's ball over the top is unbelievable. He's not even looking. And he dinks it away, and it's a great run by Gakpo, isn't it?
Gakpo, yeah.
Great run. And he just finds himself, thank you very much, that's in.
But again, Trippier just watches him run past him. He literally runs in front of Trippier.
I think we'll have to give credit to that pass from Salah, because we see similar passes, not exactly the same, but still from Bruno, where he puts Almiron in, and they've just done it to us.
Yeah.
It happens.
The touch and finish was brilliant.
It was
yeah,
great.
I think when you score a goal, when your team scores a goal, you look at the positive of the pass was amazing, the touch was amazing. Whereas of course when we concede that goal, we're like defending,
and it happens.
You don't even really take into account the quality.
It's only the second time this season we've been on the end of a defeat, so we can't really piss them on that much, really, because it's basically we'll come back to you and how we described this last well, maybe in the start of this season or the end of last season, that your decent run can turn into a bad run.
Yeah,
depend on that final result. If you win or lose it, obviously we've lost it, so it's a hell of a lot of draws now without that win on the end of it.
That is true, but then that was also true at the start of the season.
Yeah.
The end of the run was the defeat at Anfield, and then after that we kind of turned it around. And because at that point we hadn't really won many. We'd beaten Forest first game of the season, with Joe with Brighton, we drew a few early on, and it kind of feels like that again. Where I'm kind of it's maybe a bit different. Maybe I'm not quite as hopeful as I was then. I'm not quite as confident as I was then, but Bruno coming back is going to be a big one.
Huge.
100%,
Wilson doesn't seem to be as badly injured as maybe we thought. Willock's apparently going to be fit for next weekend. Maxi had a great game on Saturday. I thought, obviously, we're going to talk about that later on.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
we don't need it. It's fine. Just
we've got
to move on.
Like, it feels like there's a bit of the team coming. I thought Isaac looked good as well in parts on Saturday.
Times, yeah.
When it was, we had, well, I'm not going into too much, but when him and Maxi were together up front, I thought it seemed to work very well together. It was that sequence of draws and tight wins getting ended by Liverpool again. But again, I'm kind of thinking, well, we've got tough games. We've got Man City coming up next couple of weeks, obviously the final next weekend. But I still think we're not done.
Yeah, far from it.
I think we might look back on all the draws, because I think looking at Tottenham yesterday, I think they've won something like 6 more than us. That might not be quite right, but something like that. But they obviously lost a lot more as well. But they're fourth now, and like the draws that it's weird because you can look at the draws, 2 points dropped, but if you're hard at beating, you're getting those points every game. The accumulation of points.
Hey, there's a one.
That's a blast from the past, that, isn't it? But it's if you're not getting beat, then you're picking up points all the time. So
I think we'll have to address this. So Nick Pope, Mark, I come to you because obviously, well, both of you, especially Mark, that part of the ground where
I thought it was Mark was a goalkeeper there. I thought, well, hang on,
you're going
hang on,
competition,
sixth choice goalkeeper.
He hasn't torn up for their books.
So it's just, to be fair, the chance comes from a Trippier free kick, which is a poor free kick.
Well, I was going to mention that as well. So you can blame Trippier for all 3 things that went wrong.
So it's a poor free kick, and Alisson, it's just hitting hope, really, just absolutely brazen.
It's what he does. It's what he does. Now every single game he does.
You see Salah after he gives him a thumbs up.
Yeah, he does.
And that's one of him and Edison and Man City are the same, and that's what they are for. That's what not what they're for.
100%.
But they're both a pick for Everton's kind of a thing as well.
So they do it because they know that they've got that pace up front, and because obviously everybody's pushed up. Bang!
And
quick
do you know what it is, right? Yes, Nick Pope does get sent off, but just before that, he had done a similar.
He did exactly the same thing. Yeah.
He comes out and just heads it away.
He dealt with it really well that first one as well.
He did, and he's dealt with it well all season because he does.
He's got a good starting position.
He has. I kind of wish he hadn't dealt that first one so well, because he doesn't go for the second one then.
So he comes out and the ball, it takes a bounce, and I think that ball doesn't go as high as what Nick Pope was thinking it's going to. It's like a diving header, isn't it?
It's a slippery surface.
Madness,
the ball was actually on the floor.
He completely misjudges it. Then it's just obviously the nature of him being a goalkeeper and being an absolute nutcase like every other goalkeeper. He sees a ball on the deck in front of him, and Salah's about to kick, and he just thinks, "Oh, I'm allowed to pick this up."
I think it's instinct. It's his arms are working quicker than his head,
and he just brings it into his chest.
Yeah,
and at that point, you can't argue that it's a red card.
Well,
in the ground, Mark, though, in the ground, were people still going, "What's he being sent off for?"
I think in the
ground, because it was
there would have been.
people have got this kind of thing where I say people have got it. When a couple of VAR decisions go against you, or you perceive them to have gone against you, like the goals did, the handball and the Gakpo offside, that he wasn't offside. I think because they've gone against where people have gone, oh, it's Liverpool, we'll never get the decisions against teams like this. And all 3 decisions were spot on, from what I can gather.
Yeah,
but you do get that kind of persecution complex where you go, oh, I can't believe this is happening again. And after what happened at Anfield, the 98th minute goal and the offside, that Isaac's goal. I think Pope's unlucky. Not unlucky to get sent off. He's unlucky that he's instinctively...
He's just lost his head. He's absolutely lost his head.
He's instinctively kind of reached for the ball, but then gone... You can see his face when he's done it. He's gone, he's off. He's straight down the tunnel. And he's missing the final. A very unfortunate, but it's obviously the right decision.
You know what it is? It took me until half time to realise that we'd sent Caldolo out on loan. I'd completely forgot that he'd gone to Hull City. I was like, oh shit, well, Dubravka's cup tied. We're going to have Darlow and we've got Gillespie, but he's not registered in the squad. So it's going to be Darlow and Karius. And everybody around was like, oh, hi, I know.
There was a little bit of confusion from the commentators as well.
Was it?
Where one of them said, obviously, Dubravka has played in the cup for Man U. Then the other one started saying, oh, well, it'll be Dubravka starting next week in the cup. So it was all over the shop.
For Man United?
Yeah, it was all over the shop.
I've been wearing me keep my shirt all day today, so if anyone's wondering, I'm third choice now, effectively, I think. Like,
You're ready.
I'm ready.
Well, I'm assuming because we literally have now only got 2 eligible keepers that Gillespie will be classed as an emergency registration.
Oh,
kind
is
of
he not?
thing. He's not in
but
that's the Premier League squad, isn't it? So I don't know whether it doesn't count in
Gillespie's
that.
been on the bench in the cup before. Degger, so we are down to... I'm not going to class Darlow as our 3rd choice goalkeeper because he's out on loan, so we can't even pick him, right?
Yeah. We could recall him.
We can't.
Because
Eddie House came out and said we can't.
Fit goalkeepers, so you're not allowed.
Can't. Eddie House came out and said we can't recall him. There's no option to bring him back.
And one of them's really, really fit as well.
He is now. He's lush now. Isn't he?
He is.
So yeah, we've got Gillespie and
Mrs.
Karius. Karius hasn't played a competitive game of football in 2 years, is the headlines which are going around at the moment. A lot of people are writing this off already, saying without Nick Pope that we've got no chance. Okay. I think we'll have to remember, apart from Saturday's performance, how good our defence have been. Okay, and yes, part of that is down to Pope, but a lot of it is down to the 4 lads in front of him.
Take out that 10 minutes and they still did well.
So a lot of it's down to the 4 lads in front of him as well. Everybody's looking at Karius because of the performance against Real Madrid in the Champions League, in the errors that he made there. Okay, there has to be some level of trust from Jurgen Klopp to play Karius in those games. Why are we writing him out already?
I'm not exactly pleased. Like, I mean,
that's not ideal.
I'm not saying that I'm writing him off, but I mean, goodness Lord, like, can you imagine if like there's no one in the world that would say let's start Karius? Like, I mean, I just got no. I honestly, I'm trying to be nice, but like, it doesn't fill me with any confidence at all.
The thing that gives me a little bit of hope is the fact who we're playing.
We're playing Manchester United.
In for Manchester United.
Do you remember a few years ago we signed a 4th choice goalkeeper who hadn't played a game of football
Dubravka
for years and years and made a debut against Man United?
I don't think it was years and years, mate, and I don't think it was 4th choice.
He was. Yeah, no, 100% he was.
But
he had a fallout with
this lad 5 years ago.
This lad hasn't played a competitive game for an awful long time. And now, listen, he could come and have a great job.
He did play in pre-season and stuff like that as well.
He won a cup.
Good luck.
Yeah, cup winner.
Oh, listen, I think it's absolutely disastrous, if I'm being quite honest with you. I think it is huge because Pope just proved it there with that. What I'm telling you, if a goalkeeper does a mistake, it's either going to be, it normally leads to the goal. It's such an important area of the field. You know, that you've got, I know Bruno's a huge miss and no doubt about it, but there's loads of times Bruno will do a bad pass or get caught in possession. But it'll not come off to hurt you. Whereas, you know,
but
he'll have some sleepless nights,
I'm going to play devil's advocate, Degger, if let's say if you just watch that one game of football Saturday, that's the only game of football, you're looking at Nick Pope and thinking he's absolutely shocking goalkeeper.
Oh yeah, but we've
got history of that.
But
then everybody's judging Karius because of that last game.
Oh no, but I'm not though. I'm not. I couldn't monkey what happened 2 years, 5 years. I didn't care. Honestly, I do not care. Everyone has mistakes in them, whatever. And it was a bad game, but years ago. It's absolutely years ago.
Is that right? It was concussed.
Yeah.
Yes,
it was.
There's the other thing.
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't go monkeys about that. Honestly, I couldn't. What I would say is, and I mean this with the deepest respect, he wasn't very good when he was even at Liverpool throughout that
alright,
time.
wasn't
He was
Nah,
all right. He's
I
got a
was-
decent record.
It's like any keeper. Any mistakes that he makes and stuff like that get blown out, and that's the things that
And
are
again,
remembered.
and hey, you're right, and that's fine, right? I think to stress what I'm really meaning here, right? It's just time on the field. That's what worries us. It's not really his ability or his lack of. That's not. I'm not even
the
considering
match
that.
sharpness, reactions
That's
for
what I'm-
saves
yes.
and stuff.
Well,
Yeah, that's
all
a
I'm
bit
worried about. That's all I'm
I
worried
mean,
about.
that Champions League final, notwithstanding with Karius, to not have played a game for 2 years or 18 months, whatever it is, like, why?
Why is he
Exactly,
not
why?
having that club?
Why has he
Yeah.
not been getting picked? He went to Germany, I think. Was it Germany? I forget now exactly. But why is he not being? Who's not being?
Because I remember when we signed him, and I thought, hey, he hasn't even played. I wonder why he hasn't played. Because
Yeah.
I actually didn't think he was that bad not to play. Let's be clear here. I didn't think he was that bad not to get a game anywhere in the world. I didn't think that. But it is surprising that, though, isn't it? That he hasn't played for anyone.
It's weird with
Um,
goalkeepers when keepers go off
He
the
did
boil.
he did go to Real Madrid for a season though. That's why he wasn't in the team.
Did he?
He's lush.
I don't know.
I've just
if
made
that's
that
true.
up.
He's lush.
I've just
That's
made
not-
that
that's not true.
up.
And you know what?
I could have just gone with it though, couldn't I?
He could have the game of his life. And you know, it's like, of course, I hope he does. I want him to.
I wonder
All I'm saying, I'm worried.
how many players make their debuts for clubs in finals.
Oh,
It must nearly never happen that like.
yeah.
Oh, it'll be very slim, but then you've got to look at the cup competitions and think most teams, the big teams, will be playing their second and third choice
Not the
goalkeepers,
finals.
not in the finals, which I never agree with. I hate it when they do that.
I
It's
know,
a
I
bit
feel a bit
unfair,
sad
isn't
for them.
it?
Like,
When that person's got all the
but
way
it's
there,
mad. I was going to say it's mad how often you see a goalkeeper who's doing really, really well go off the boil like that. I mentioned the Tyrespot Champions League final concussed. Not like Jack Butland was England's second choice keeper for a while, and he started making mistakes. And Stoke went down. He just didn't do it in Championship. Joe Hart. Joe Hart had a stinking season at Man City. He went to sat on Tottenham's bench.
Was
Went
it
to
Spurs,
Celtic.
wasn't he?
It's at
He's at
Celtic
Celtic now. He's doing all right.
well. Yeah.
I think-
Craig Gordon had that thing where he was unreal at Sunderland, got injured, and he was like playing lower league. And I think is he at Hearts or is he Celtic again now? But it's weird with goalkeepers like Karius at Liverpool. If you have at Liverpool playing in the Champions League final, you're not a bad goalkeeper. But had that like apparently concussed, makes some mistakes, and just like didn't have a club start the season.
Yeah, I think as well. It's I'm on about sharpness and of course and being in an actual game.
Yeah.
Let alone the opposition you're against and the size of the game. It's also your communication with your back four. He's never played with them. I mean, he might in training, but it doesn't wash from me that. Like as I've said about the defense, it's a back five. You know, it's the four and then it's the goalkeeper. There's communication. There's the lads will know when Pope's going to come for something, etc., etc. I just think all of that is so important, you know.
You can bet they're doing loads of work on that this week.
Oh Christ!
They'll be doing little else, just getting
100%,
him with a four. So it'll be
yeah.
Karius.
I was saying it's going to be
Shea Butman.
Karius and not Gillespie.
Yeah, aye.
100%.
Yeah.
Karius.
I mean,
I think I would-
no disrespect to Gillespie, but
I'd be even more worried if it was Gillespie, and this lad hasn't
Yeah.
played in 2 years.
Do
But
you know what
Yeah,
it is?
he's played. He's played.
Who?
I was looking it up. He's played.
Who?
Karius.
He's played 45 minutes for us in Saudi.
So he's no. He has.
Played competitive
he's
football.
Played for Union Berlin.
All right, okay.
when was that?
The 2021 season.
Two
Well, you might
years.
as well say that's just
What,
yeah.
2020, 21 or
I'm
21,
interested.
22?
When was his game before that?
He played. He was at Besiktas, and pretty much looks like he played 3 seasons there.
Full
The season before that.
Yeah.
Three
So
seasons
19,
before that.
20.
When was
3
Liverpool?
seasons
18
before
to
that.
20.
Oh, hey, 2 year season.
Well, it's 55. Probably cup games and stuff like that.
I didn't know they did that.
55
Germany.
games.
They
55
just keep on
games.
playing for 2 years.
That's,
No, I was in.
You said 18, 20.
Aye, that's Besiktas.
I tell you what, though. I tell
Totally
you
lost
what.
on
I think what's going to be really important for because if I was Man United, right, I would be Ten Hag won't because he's more clever than I am. But I'd be saying test this fucker out immediately. Get crosses in the box.
Oh,
let's have
they'll
a
be
shot.
bet
If he-
Rashford's
it would be lovely if they get a corner and he comes out and collects it on the first couple of minutes. and
Apparently,
then
he's very
just,
good
you
at
know,
doing that.
Yeah, I hope he does because that'll settle everyone's nerves.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But listen, it's the. I've almost been waiting for this Newcastle.
Yeah.
I've almost been waiting
been
for
coming,
it.
hasn't
Aye,
it?
and
It's
I
been
feel
coming.
like this is a Newcastle I know.
It was
We'll just shoot myself in the foot.
It's like just been popping its little ugly head around the corner going, shall I go now?
Yeah.
Shall I
Yeah,
go
yeah,
now?
honestly, yeah.
Just a week before cup final. Let's do
It's
it.
mad that
Yeah.
we've had 4 senior goalkeepers like available at every point this season, and now here we are for the biggest game in our history in recent times.
Well,
and we're down to recent times.
What I do want to mention though is I've seen it quite a lot on social media. People saying, "Oh, I wish we had the option of Darlow." Nobody wanted Darlow to play when he was here.
I don't think Darlow's any better than Carey. He was on the bench, wasn't he? Like for quite a lot of the games that
He played the cup games, didn't he?
He played Tranmere, didn't he? I seem not did he?
He played.
Did he?
Well, here's a question. Then. Would you rather have Darlow or Karius?
I don't know.
Yeah, Chris.
I've not seen enough of Karius to.
I've never been Darlow's biggest fan, so.
Mark.
But I haven't seen enough of
The
Karius.
Darlow
I don't think
question is
anyone
because
has.
he's probably played more first team football more recently.
He's got a hell of a lot of errors.
I don't hate Darlow's one of the best shot stoppers I've ever seen in Newcastle. I mean, ever. He's a wonderful stopper. But the rest of his goalkeepings,
Can
go back over years of podcasts with me. Darlow is.
But what I'm saying though is we all think, well, all you aren't really a fan of Darlow, but we're still kind of not really sure what side of the fence to go on. That just proves how awful the situation is.
It's very telling for me that the biggest and best save.
Rest in peace, big lad.
The biggest and best save Darlow ever made
That was a great save.
was from his fucking mistake.
Rotherham.
I'll still go back to them penalty saves against Forest were still special. I'm not here to slag off Darlow. No, I'm not.
That was
That's
the
Bestie's job.
Maybe peace.
No, I've got no issues. Back to the question, Chris. Yes. It is a huge worry for me. That it really is huge worry.
If this is going to be a good,
I would have rather have lost Wilson for the final than him.
So this was going to be my next question. Yeah. If you could have picked one position for somebody to be sent off and be missing that, what position would it have been?
Well, not centre midfield, like probably not. I'd probably say striker.
Would you?
Yeah, because I think Isak could have played, or vice versa. You know what I mean? Like I think we could have sacrificed that area.
So another question: would you prefer
Bruno winger sent off?
I knew you were going to do that. Yeah.
If you prefer Bruno to be playing,
couldn't miss that opportunity,
or Nick Pope to be playing.
They're both very, very important for different reasons.
Bruno for me. I love Pope. Maybe not to underestimate what Pope does, but Bruno for me.
I just think Casemiro and their midfielders. We need. I tell you, I still say for all I thought we played very well, by the way, against Liverpool again.
Yeah, we did.
I still say that you can see what we're missing in midfield, and I've said that against West Ham. I'll say it against Bournemouth, and I'll say it again.
I thought
there's a loss in that.
Essential. I thought was a lot of times, a few times Longstaff got caught out.
Oh,
caught on the ball, 25 yards from goal, losing it. And then there was one where he kind of tries to drive forward, forgets that he isn't that quick. And I forget one of them, Fabinho's just like nips in, I'll have that. And
he got that. He was actually running with the ball, wasn't he? Literally straight off him. And I still say, like, honestly, I thought, sorry, Mark, I thought Maxi played amazing, but I still like to see Bruno on that, just because I just feel that he'll get even better balls out wide. Do you know what I mean? It makes sense. I just think
if we'll put our attention towards the cup final, then, right? So Bruno is going to be starting 100%. Okay, he's going to be starting that fixture. Yeah. Does Mark? I'll come to you. Does Maxi start?
Yeah.
He had an absolute fantastic game. I can't remember the last time we've lost a game 2-0 and one of our players to be man of the match.
It's unbelievable.
Maybe goalkeeper.
When you think about the two options that they were querying over in the commentary was if Maxi is going to get man of the match or if Alisson's going to get man of the match.
Yeah,
and
that does tell you a lot. That tells you a lot about our performance. It really does. But I think you've got Carragher, who was his team. His team have won at St James's, which I don't think anyone else has this season. I should know that.
No, I haven't. It was the first one.
It's the first time we've lost.
It is. Yeah.
So his team have went and beat us 2-0. And he gives one of our players man of the match. That to me just tells you everything. He was outstanding.
It's what we've been saying about Maxi for weeks and weeks is that the types of games that he's came into, he's no good in them games because he's got nowhere to go. Whereas with Liverpool, we literally did with Maxi what we did for 2 years under Steve Bruce. We just gave him the ball and said run at them. Because we had no other plan. Because we had nobody to move the ball around to go to a striker. So it was
that's quite how it happened. I mean, Isak was up front. He got some good.
Them two interchanged very well between switching from left to right.
I think there was. I have to reference two moments. Which there was one moment where
the first handful of. Well, not the first handful.
Ball to Miggy was
the first chance of the game.
Well, we had the first two chances with Miggy and Isak.
Maxi picks that ball up on the halfway line, Decker, and he runs with it.
It really was a great. And to be fair to Miggy as well, Miggy was actually miles offside as the move begins.
Yeah, he was that.
But then sneakily just comes back on side, and the release of the pass was perfect because it wasn't too early because he would have been offside. But that was a great ball. I thought it was a fantastic save. I know a lot of people have said Miggy should have scored.
Yeah, it was a really good save.
Great save.
Stretching it for a little bit, I think. Pass was over
because I felt that the keeper went the other way. You know, he went the other way. He went down, and this hand, I don't know how he saved it.
It's like Schmeichel. Schmeichel do is come out and make himself.
It really was. And then there was a run he did in the second half was just insane. Like
for the shot. The one that
with Isak shot when I thought that passed it.
No, the one
the one
where tipped on the crossbar. He kind of cuts in from the left, right hand side. Right, I think pass it. Pass it. He's like, no.
He didn't really have anyone. There was Isak he had, but that pass wasn't really on. And I thought, he's going to lose it here probably. And then listen, I always just think if he loses it here, everyone's going to shout pass. Even if there's not a black and white shirt, they'll just shout pass anyway. It passed the ref. But he didn't. He managed to get a shot off, and that does help, obviously, when that happens.
Good effort.
But I thought he released the ball really well for a lot of them times as well.
If we look at everything which happened and look at the chances, Liverpool took theirs. That's the difference. We had that Miggy chance early on, seeing shot gets saved, hits on the crossbar. Dan Burn hits a crossbar from a header.
Yeah.
Wilson's got a great opportunity
from set pieces. We caused them all sorts of problems.
Yeah,
we won just about every.
Fabian Shaw had a decent header as well.
From corners, not the free kick. We'll not mention that again.
No, you're right there. You would be a bang on there.
You're looking at 5 chances there. 5 chances.
Let's say the difference is, and we know in the last half a dozen games maybe we've got away with some like results and stuff like that because of very poor finishing. We came up against a team that are clinical in front of goal, and that was very, very telling because the chances that clear-cut chances that they got, they took.
For the most part, Dubravka did make a couple of one really good
save at the Leazers that I can remember.
Was one that Dan Burn came in and saved a pretty certain goal towards the end.
I still say, best you said this downstairs as well, but I think if someone was watching that game, you wouldn't know who had 10 men.
No.
It'd be hard to tell. We were fantastic
until very late on. They made 4. They made 4 changes, which bringing 4 players on it fresh.
Yeah, well, you had Joe
was a big difference.
Again, that was a great sign of management as well. I want to reference 2 things on how. Sorry, first was when Joe Linton goes off. He had a shot, feeling his hamstring, then does not want to go off. Yeah. He's like, "No, I'm fine. You hear I'm shouting and blah blah." And Howe's like, "No, I'm the gaffer. You're off."
Yeah.
Totally the right decision. Whether or not he thinks he can continue or not, because we've got a massive game on Sunday. However, what the hell is he bringing Wilson on for? I cannot. I
was surprised by that one. I
cannot. He's admitted he hasn't trained except once. We're never going to win that game. It's as simple as that, right? We're not. And he brought him on. I was stunned. I was stunned. I remember when we played Tranmere away and he brought Bruno on.
I remember that, yeah.
I was as stunned at that moment as I was on set. I was like, what are you doing?
There was a point in the second half where we've made our changes and I'm looking down and thinking, who the hell's that? Who's number 11 for us?
Matt Ritchie.
I thought it was Ryan Fraser.
He went in centre midfield, didn't he?
I'm not. He's in front of us at this time, in front of the Strawberry Corner. Who's the hell's number 11? I'm going through this one. It was Matt Ritchie, but he's obviously still there.
This is the worry, though, isn't it?
Bones of yours.
Goodness Lord, he had to play centre midfield, man. Yeah. We had to put Ritchie centre midfield.
He did well when he came on, though.
He did. No, I'm not taking anything away from him.
He did all right.
What I'm saying, though, is you're turning to your bench and this is what you've got.
That's because obviously Bruno's suspended, Willick's injured.
Oh, I get it, but that's football. That's football. You know what I mean?
Well, that's where we are as well.
That squad shouldn't be 4th or 5th in the league.
I saw someone. Well, this is the thing.
And that's why we're doing so.
Someone tweeted from a Man City account. I think maybe it's just after the World Cup, saying Newcastle are still in that Craig Bellamy Adebayor phase. Aye. And that's where Man City were. That was Man City's equivalent. Mm-hmm. Just been taken over, starting to get the players in. It's like, hang on, that's 3rd in the league. It's over for us. And that's what we're doing. It's still been a really, really good season, but it doesn't take much in the way of injuries, suspensions with the Bruno thing to kind of scratch beneath the surface and say that there's.
Which we've said for through the transfer windows, through even before that, where we could see gaps.
It's important to remember that as well. I think
the season as well, and I think he's.
Do you know what it is? I'll go through the questions in a minute, but it just once again you look at that loan move for Dubravka to Man U, and you're still scratching your head thinking,
even more so now, of all of the
it's such such a weird choice.
We know that he wanted to go in search of fit. Came out and said it as much. Was wanting to play first team football. However, he found himself 3-4 places down the pecking order even when he went there. So it was
hindsight's great. But I even said this at the time. I was stunned that we're giving to an opposition team like that.
Yeah,
I thought maybe we're going to go on loan go
abroad,
then crack on. Do you know? But not in our league. And then I know it's just been cruel the way it's worked out. I don't think.
No, he's at Norwich.
Yeah. Before we move on to the questions, though, we'll have to talk
Maxi,
about Callum Wilson, who you just mentioned. That chance at the Gallowgate. Dear me.
Yeah, you should be burying that.
So, what did you think was so bad with it? I know you missed. I don't know, but
he literally just literally passed the ball to the keeper. Essentially, it was shocking.
Yeah, but I've seen so many strikers finish like that. It goes in. It's just everyone goes, "How cool a finish was that?" It was really calm.
But he just puts it straight. He literally just needed to do anything. He doesn't even really hit it with any conviction. He doesn't try to
aside as well.
He doesn't try to put it around the keeper. He doesn't try to lift it over the keeper. He just like I say, almost passes it back to the. Obviously, a bit stronger than that, but it's just such a poor,
I do feel if he had scored,
finish.
we could have gotten a point out of it.
Oh, 100%.
I do feel that.
And that's what I was just going to say. That you're saying, why are you bringing Wilson on? I think at that stage we were well in with a chance of getting not necessarily a win, but we were banging on their door.
We were on top like for a lot of the game.
Honestly, when we went 2-0 down, and when you initially 2-0 down, then you keep gets sent off your thing, just full time whistle, to just do it now. But as the game went on, I kept on like believing, thinking we could actually still get something.
Yeah.
And like Bestie said right at the start, like yes, Liverpool probably eased off a little bit, set back, relaxed into things because they were 2-0 up after 10 minutes.
I think that's taking
20 minutes.
I think that's taking a bit of credit away from us, to be honest.
It does,
No,
but
no,
I think
I'm not-
realistically, I think Liverpool did it. I'm not saying that they've just totally sat back because they didn't. They still had a few chances. They got out a
Trent
bit.
still put a.
They weren't
couple of
as
decent balls
intense
in.
as they had been in
Nah,
that.
I don't know how much of
in
that's
that
down to
spell.
Liverpool not being as good as they have been over the years.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah,
I think there'll probably be a bit of both where they're not as good as they were, but at the same time,
that's why
they've just gone like.
That's why the 10th, right? Their intensity's gone. I don't know what it is, but the Liverpool, that blueprint that you've known for 5-6 years now is gone. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
It was certainly there for 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, but when you've got quality, because they have got quality. There's no question of that. But to reference something else, how moved it to 4-3-2?
Yeah.
And I thought it looked
worked
It looked
so
really
well.
great. It looked great.
Yeah, it
We
worked
looked solid in the middle. We were causing them all sorts of shit at the top end because you've got two fast players. You know what I mean? And them
good touch on them both as well.
Really, really good. And I thought, as I say,
not in front of goal as much.
Yeah, maybe not. That's fair. But I thought we'd give it a hell of a good go.
I thought he's that chance he did. That chance where he put it over the top of the Gallowgate.
He's got loads of time
On his
hasn't he?
effort. I don't think he
got
realises
loads of
how much
time.
time he's got.
Yeah.
The pass was tremendous. I never thought you could find them. Honestly,
It was like when you were
If you look at the
behind.
if you're in the ground, it maybe look far up, but when you look at the replay,
it's not.
He tries to tuck
not
in the
as far
corner,
as
like
it.
it's not as far.
It was
as what you
very
would thought.
He just spins and
CCS.
hits the first time.
It was very
He's got
CCS style.
loads of
Go
time.
F at that.
Yeah, I'd say,
Very CCS, I thought.
Over his shoulder, like not you turn on it and
It just
didn't realise how much time he had.
Yeah,
I think
I thought all the goals, well, the two goals as well were very CCS. We're just instinctive.
Yeah.
Like just Darwin ones.
So
that's something CC would do. Just get it and hit it as hard as you can.
What's your thoughts on Isak?
Isak.
What's your thoughts on?
I just don't know whether or not to start him or Wilson. If him and Wilson are both totally fit come the weekend, I don't know who I'd start with.
Isak.
Yeah.
Wilson's just not at the races.
But he scored against West Ham, though.
He should do far. That
his
chance,
performance was just as bad as normal.
that chance against at the end of the game, he should definitely score. It's a good save. It is a good save, mine. But like you say, what I would have done, you've got to do better. It was like a Joe Linton finish almost, where the conviction wasn't there. On his right hand side, I think maybe.
Look at the goal he scored last week with his left foot. Well, not last week, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know. But listen, it happens, man. It happens. The best people in the world miss chances.
I want to see Bruno, Maxi, and Isak on the field at the same time.
Well, you will in a few days' time.
The reason why I do like Isak is his pace. And I'm
Maxi
such a
start,
believer in pace.
Wembley.
He has to.
Who
else is going to?
Maxi.
Oh my god!
Do you know what it is? I think Maxi will start, but I wouldn't be shocked to see Wilson start. Like far from it.
I'm telling you, Maxi on that performance is.
I tell you what, I think with
There's
Maxi,
no doubt about it.
you mentioned earlier, Mark, and we've said a few weeks in a row now. He tends to do better against teams that.
Yeah, give him the space.
His two best games this season,
Man City and Liverpool.
the biggest teams in the league.
Yeah.
Who's the next biggest team in the league? Man United.
Yeah.
Is he a big game player?
No.
Oh, they are.
Oh, 100%.
I do reference what Mark says a lot as well, though. That I think when you're playing against a team that are a little bit more aggressive going the other way, leaves
Opens it
gaps.
up, yeah.
Certainly the first 5 minutes. I mean, they were just switching the ball to them for fun, and I was like, he's going to have the run of the field. Yeah.
Alexander Arnold's not a good defender.
No, he's not.
He's excellent going
to be
forward,
fair,
but
when you're playing like your Bournemouth, where it's 11 behind the ball,
it's
he's
hard
coming
to-
inside into trouble. More often than not. So it's not always easy.
And that's why I don't get loads of people shouting on to start him at 10, because if you stick him in the 10, he's just going to be completely congested in the middle of the park.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to play 10 as well, and I think if you play him at 10, he's not certainly going to be. I think if you give him the license to drift left or right and almost just cause trouble in different areas,
I think he wants.
absolute
I
dynamite.
don't think he
That's
wants
what
to
he
be
did
a
on
10.
Saturday.
He wants to have a free roll and just go where he wants.
And listen, do you know, it's as much as I say you can always have one player on your team. I'm not so sure you can just have someone doing what the hell they
You know
want.
what it is, Alan, when Maxi cuts inside as well. And if he's number 10, that takes that away.
Yeah. It's funny, it's funny. listen, I love him, right? But there's times I remember the West Ham. I'm going back. I know, right? I'm going back where Wilson scored, but did end up getting beaten. Like, but he absolutely ripped Rice apart on the right hand side. 3 times he turned him inside out, crossed it, and Wilson scored. I've seen him against Leeds run all the way across and then score. Like, I've seen him do it on both sides of the field. I really have, but I do feel on the left, him coming inside. I mean, listen, we know that's going to happen, though. Do you know what I mean?
I thought he actually played better when he was on the right side at the weekend because he was getting
shot away from that side,
down the wing and being able to get it across on his right foot.
And this is
rather
another
than having
thing
to come in and
to go back to why I was so irate the other week. Honest to God, so irate. Is because he can play 2 positions. He can play right hand side. You know what I mean? If you needed him to, he can slot over that side. And God forbid, he might even be able to do a job up front for you if you need him to. Like, it's not everyone's just like Gordon.
No, did well through the middle on Saturday. Like,
that's what I'm saying. He went up centre because we had nobody else at that time. At times, I'm not saying I play him there. I'm just saying. But this is why I got so pissed off that we're saying Gordon, so he's gone. Are you fucking thick? Like the guy can play more. I'm not saying play him centre half, but like he can play right wing or left wing, or do you know what I mean? He doesn't just play one position. And then
as soon as everybody's fit, he's out the team. 100% out the team.
But if he starts on Sunday, we'll see. I think that's
we still had Bellend messaging us, man. Billy Graham, whoever he is. What a wanker, man! Saying like, Gordon did more than him. What did Maxi produce? He's literally messaging me saying things like that
on Saturday.
I tagged Specsavers and say, "You fucking get this guy sorted." Like, he's saying like, he didn't produce anything. He didn't cross the ball. He didn't pass the ball. Blind, man. Blind.
Sorry, Graham.
Thanks for watching anyway.
Honestly, I hope he's watching.
Technically, he didn't get an assist. Didn't get a goal.
Well, that was funny. No, that was funny because I remember I came away and I think, God, he could have had maybe 2 or 3 assists there. Or maybe a goal, but definitely 2 or 3 assists or could have, you know what I mean? And I still say,
if I can sit here and say he played okay, then
and
you know he's been all right.
If you're going to go away and go, I need this kind of performance every week, fuck off, because you're not going to get that type of performance. You can't. No one can do that 30 games a season.
But that's the thing is, you do need more of that from him.
Well, he's only played 3 times in the last 9 months, so fair. But the problem is, though, if he doesn't play like that on Sunday, sell him, shite. He's not going to play like that. He's not. I'm his biggest fan. He cannot play like that every week. He can't. For example, the same point I'd say to you, look at Isak against Southampton off the bench. Woof, see a goal. Come on, then, mate, do that next week. He hasn't done it since. But that's fine. It's football.
He's had a couple of chances to do that.
He hasn't done that. He hasn't done that since. Exactly. And that's football.
Text me mate that says Mark and Declan are going to agree on Maxi, but still argue.
No, they will. I always. Right, let's go to the questions.
I'm arguing with Graham.
If anybody does have any questions, send them our way and we'll go through as many as possible. The first one is from Josh Stockton, who, as always, sends in a donation. So thanks very much, Josh.
He's keeping the studio open.
I think we're going to have to name the building after Josh.
He's not dead.
Stand. Just a statue. We'll get you a statue, mate.
We'll get you a picture on the wall.
Little plaque or a picture.
So he says, "Hi lads, I'm surprised Eddie Howe stuck with the same formation on Saturday. I felt sorry for Anderson."
Hang on a minute.
Hang on. Let us finish the question. Let's finish the question. I felt sorry for Anderson even before Pope's red card. If I'd been Bruce chucking, if it had been Bruce chucking him in the deep and against Liverpool for his first start, there would have been hell on. We could probably argue against that because Matty Longstaff had his debut against Man U, wasn't it?
That was the last time we did the bloody trolley.
Anderson's played before, though. He's had his debut. He played against Arsenal away.
This was his Premier League debut.
It's from first start in Premier League.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Do you know, there's so many times in football, right, certainly for us, where like I'm not going to mention his name. I'm not going to mention Maxi ever again.
I knew you were going
to. No, but like it's not just about play. Like it's about players.
It's not managers, just about Maxi.
Like certain managers might make a decision, right, and get absolutely thrown over the coals for it.
Yeah.
And then someone else makes that decision, and no one has any issues with it. But it's the same.
Effectively the same thing.
The same decision.
Yeah.
And the point he makes actually is I had no problem with Anderson starting. Can I just add there? Because I knew short.
Were you massively surprised that?
I thought Gordon would start ahead of him.
I'd completely forgot about that until you just mentioned it.
Howe likes him, doesn't he? Howe said a few times that Anderson's not going anywhere. He's our player.
He's a good player. I still think there's a player in there.
But did you not expect? Did you not expect Gordon to start?
No, because I did. I never 100%.
Thought.
Nah, I never thought in a million years he'd play 4-2-3-1 because that's what you'd have to play. And I would love to see we'll play that.
We'll play that for the last 2 weeks.
No, No, we ended up, man. But Bournemouth we played 4-3-3, but then Willa got injured, so we had to bring Gordon on, and we had to change in that one game. West Ham we didn't play that. West Ham we played with normal football, with normal.
No, but then as soon as he comes on,
yeah, but you're saying the last. You're saying the last 2 weeks. We played it for an hour. We played it for an hour because it was forced upon me. That's all.
What are you talking about now?
No.
I'll switch off when you do raise your voice now.
I did as well.
What I'm saying is if you play Gordon, it's the formation that I would love to see we play as 4-2-3-1.
Right. Okay.
Because Gordon has to play as a 10, or maybe you put Gordon and put Maxi as a 10, right? What he was saying was, we've played that football that way the last 2 weeks. But that's false, because West Ham was the normal formation. Hang on, well, let us finish. West Ham was perfectly normal. 4-3-3, Maxi came off for Gordon. Everyone thought Gordon was the hero. End of story.
Gordon went in the middle. He didn't play out wide, though, did he?
Lord Almighty.
He was.
He swapped with Maxi, man. He played left wing. He played left wing.
He did.
So then the Bournemouth game, however, was like we started 4-3-3. Willock got injured, which then we had to bring Gordon on. And then we changed formation. We did play 2 midfield, and Gordon floated around and caused trouble, played wide, whatever. So on this game, I didn't think in a million years. I'm not saying I wouldn't want to see Gordon play. I'd love to see Gordon on, but in order to play Gordon, you can't play 4-3-3. He's not going to play centre midfield.
Well, this is something that Eddie Howe's going to have to be thinking next week, because Gordon can't play at the weekend.
Yeah, so again,
I was relieved about that.
No, I like Gordon a lot, and
I'm not convinced. Like,
no,
you feel threatened by it because of
this
Maxi?
This is why I'll defend Miggy as much as people sometimes criticise him, Maxi and Gordon. Why do you think I like them three? Why?
No idea. You tell us.
Because all three of them are fast as fuck in the direct. And I personally, I can't get enough of players like that. Bring us them all. Give us 11 players of them. Because I love direct players. And in my opinion,
you need them in your team.
We've only got 3. That's honestly how we've got 3 players now.
Don't forget about Jacob Murphy.
Goodness Lord, when he come on, my heavens. But anyway,
played it right back as well.
I did.
That was another little saving substitution by Howe.
Yeah, because Trippier had that thing on the byline with was it Nunes?
Yeah,
Dirty Nunes
fell on his head.
So to be fair, I thought it was a foul by Trippier. Like,
that's too far away. I couldn't tell.
Willock's not going to be fit, right? Period.
No, he is.
I don't think he's starting.
Could be.
Well, if he was, well, now what's going to happen there? If not, like, it's very difficult to understand how you're going to play, because does he want to give Anderson a start in a final when he's only played 25 minutes? No, I agree.
Longstaff, Bruno, Joe Linton's your midfield 3.
Oh, of course. Sorry, apologise.
Bruno's back.
Yeah. I think part of the Anderson thing was with next week in mind, thinking, well, we can rest, we can afford to play him. I think I wouldn't say necessarily wrote off Saturday. Not to start with. I think by the hour mark, I think he kind of said, well, that's that then.
Wait, but no, that's
true as well. Like,
so if
in the short bit of time, Anderson didn't do badly.
No, he's all right.
I can't remember doing out.
I think he's all right now. He's just
right. So we'll be doing a match preview for obviously the cup final on Sunday,
live from Trafalgar Square.
If we are going to be going through our starting 11 now, so it's obviously Karius. We're all going with Karius in goal. Your defense picks itself at the moment. I know there's a lot of people
drop Trippier after the weekend. You were shopping.
Bring Target in, not happening. So you're going to have
get Mankio in,
Trippier, Shaw, Botman, and Dan Burn. So your midfield is going to go back to Longstaff, Bruno, and Joe Linton.
Yeah.
So your front 3, are you going to go Saint, Isaac, Miggy?
Probably. I think probably.
Yeah, I would.
Maybe Saint Miggy Iggy. Saint Miggy?
Iggy.
Saint Miggy
Iggy.
Saint Miggy Iggy. Maybe Sir Maximan Isaac. No, Wilson Miggy, I'm not it. But I don't think he'll change. I don't think Wilson will start. I think he will stick with Isaac. I want to say mine when you mentioned Dan Burn there. I thought Burn, when we were like up against it on Saturday, did really well.
Yeah.
Burn was
second half in particular.
Burn was unreal. He was everywhere.
We've been
Would you say unreal?
I think it was very good.
He was brilliant.
In the second half, he was good. Like, the second half, he was really good. There was one point where he won the ball in the corner, and Salah was. There was a ball line he could have played. He kind of cut inside, played it, and then I think it might be my Longstaff lost actually. Also, I haven't mentioned yet, and I would like to because I thought it was very, very good. There was one when we had a corner got cleared, and Salah's running up to chase it in the corner, and Miggy keeps up with him, overtakes him, wins the ball, and you can see Salah afterwards go like, "I fucking fair play," like. They have a little bit of a well done, mate. Miggy was excellent there. Like,
yeah,
that was proper.
I actually thought the stifled Miggy very well. Actually, I thought,
yeah,
because he did nothing.
No, he was quiet,
which is a shame. He just stifled him well, and Robinson's a good fullback though. So
he had to come obviously a bit more inside with obviously going a man down, so he played more in midfield than wide.
Yeah. But I'd probably say Isak will start like
that team though.
Probably.
That's
you know what it is. It wouldn't surprise
enough
though,
our first team
if he starts Wilson.
That's near enough.
Even though we all think Isak should start.
Whoever he starts out of Isak and Wilson, it's pretty much our strongest team.
Yeah,
you're right.
St. Maximin and
The rest picks
Joe
itself,
Willock's, and that's the team that's lost once all season. I mean, Liverpool at the weekend didn't have a lot of those players in, so I wouldn't write off. Yeah, and Man U are playing really well at the minute, but that's a hard team to beat.
I tell you what, Trippier's going to be
Rashford scares me.
Well, Rashford, Bruno Fernandes is playing really well. Casemiro, Man United are a good side and they're playing well. Ten Hag's
he's done a great job.
He's lanced
some turnaround, isn't it?
He's lanced the boil. He got rid of Ronaldo and
Luke Shaw's having a decent season.
Luke Shaw's doing well. De Gea's
as a centre half.
De Gea's doing really well. De Gea made a great save on Saturday from that header early on where he kind of crossed it back off the line. They are a hard team to beat, but so are we.
Do you know what's frustrating, isn't it? This is what I keep trying to say about football and players in general, about like just give people time and don't instantly call someone X, even though I've probably been guilty in the past. But you go back maybe 6 months ago, maybe 10 months ago, if you said we're going to play Man United in the cup, you bring them on like the shit, the this, the that, way, that, and this. And now we've only won 1 in 8, I think. And they are absolutely flying. However, though, football is a funny game, isn't it?
They've got a big game on Thursday.
They've
got a massive game on Thursday.
To about an hour ago, haven't you?
So, but I'm going to be fair. I'm not hopeful at all. But
I think that's just
my honest opinion.
We've got more than a punch has chance on Sunday.
We have.
Look at the 99 final, the 98 final, the semi-roll at Cardiff in 2005 was that?
Against Man United,
where we were like serious underdogs, and rightly so. I think this time round we're not.
And it can come down to who wants it more on the day.
I think
you go back and you look at the team that played against them in the final at Wembley last time, and Jesus, it was horrific when you look back at that.
The 98 final
team.
99, and they were the treble then as well.
Yeah.
It's not just that we were that poor. They were maybe one of the best teams Europe's ever seen.
Yeah, I know. And that doesn't get said enough. Actually, it's just
they were a wonderful team.
We were shit. Like
no, I know, but he's right though. I still say we got beat off Arsenal as well. I know I'm changing it a bit, but Arsenal were absolutely unreal.
That's when they won a double.
I like. Do you know what I mean?
Vieira, Perez, Henry.
It's mad that the 2 cup finals came in probably was sandwiched between the heights of where we were actually very, very good, and that little period where we got the 2 finals were terrible.
It was ironic, and we played against in the finals the best teams in the country,
if not
by a long way.
Whereas if it had just been 2 years earlier or 2 years later, it would have been a.
It is mad when you think. I always reminisce on the. I still say the good old days where Ginola and go back to Beardsley and Andy Cole up front. You know what I mean, and all the rest of it. And whenever I got to the final,
we got beat off Chelsea in the cup, and Everton.
It's mad, isn't it?
Bobby Robson days. We got beat off Arsenal. We played them twice in like a couple of weeks.
We got Robson. We got the semis against Chelsea, which were damn. We battered.
That was his first season, wasn't it? Gus Poyet got the 2 headers. Yeah, Robbie scored for us.
Yeah, we battered them.
Good point. What Scott mentions. He says if Man U score first this week against Barca, then Barcelona will get dirty.
Oh, God, I hope so.
You can see it coming, can't you? You can see it coming.
Like Rashford, I was praying for him to get a 10-day injury yesterday. It's not like I don't really. I like Rashford. I like him a lot. Now, if they end up winning the league and he scores, great. But just have the weekend off.
Wouldn't it be a shame if they all got like head injuries on Wednesday night? Just like a little bit of concussion, just a little bit, just a small amount of concussion.
I'd rather like a hamstring injury or something. Like.
I can't play 7 days, isn't it?
I know I'm saying that, but I'd want to beat them with them all.
I don't care. I
know. I would love to beat them.
I want to play their Bairns.
Nah, mate.
Who's going to remember in 2-3 years?
Who
the lineup was?
You'll just get let's just beat them for who they are. Let's bring them on.
And we can. I think we can beat.
So we have found out today as well that Newcastle United will. Are we technically classed as the home side?
No,
because
we're the away side.
So we're the away side wearing black shorts and black socks.
Yep.
All right, I'm shocked at that.
No, we're drawn as the away side.
They need to start putting United in our name as well.
I saw half and half scarf. I was in King Street.
Right.
I walked down King Street and Shields earlier, and there was someone had a half and half scarf. I was saying it was Newcastle v United. Black and red. It was like, well, that's not how it, lads.
But even Sky did it. They had Man United versus Newcastle.
That doesn't bother us, though.
It doesn't bother me. If it wasn't a Manchester City, there'd probably just be Manchester.
On Football Manager, I go in and edit and put UTD at the end of ours.
Yeah.
Do you do for everybody else? Do you do for West Ham?
Fuck. Exactly. We're just Newcastle now. I have to go in it, edit and put United there. I have to do it.
Yeah. It doesn't really bother me.
No.
Change it to Leicester City.
I'm not a big fan of when I'm not a big fan of it when people
say, okay about them.
When people say it's like Newcastle v United, that's not cricket. That's not.
I do. I hate it when they just say United.
But it doesn't not saying Newcastle United doesn't bother us.
No, as long as you say it, because it's Newcastle.
I'm not saying.
United do it.
Yeah, I'm not saying that we have to say it. I'm not saying we have to say it. What I'm saying though is when I see it written, like it's Man United versus Newcastle, I'm like, well, where's our United?
Yeah, because it's differentiating between Man United and Man City.
That's what you need to focus on.
It's never Newcastle versus Tottenham Hotspur. It's just Newcastle Spurs.
Don't focus on United not being there.
Well, I do.
Focus on why Manchester have the
I
City
can't
or the
believe
United on
that
the
they've
end.
dropped Hove Albion off the end of Brighton's name.
I know.
It's most clubs. You'll probably could go for the Premier League.
West Brom
Most
just
will be
West Brom. It's never West Bromwich Albion.
Just fucking add United back in there. It doesn't have to be the spelling full. UTD will do the job.
What we need is for Newcastle Benfield to get promoted to the Premier League.
It would annoy us though, not that I'll see it, but like at the weekend when obviously we're both playing and they're just talking about United all the time.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
Okay. Right. One more question. This one is from.
I've got to get up in 10 minutes.
I know. It comes from Kieran, who is a member.
I haven't even been to bed yet.
He says, where are we going for drinks Saturday night, Sunday before the game, and Sunday after the game? We don't know yet.
Saturday night's Trafalgar Square.
Saturday night will be Trafalgar Square, but obviously
Saturday afternoon will probably be Trafalgar Square.
we've got to go somewhere beforehand. But if you're in the Telegram group, we'll be messaging constantly.
Saturday will be a quiet bottle of beer watching Match of the Day for me because I'm not going down.
So you're down on Sunday, aren't you?
Driving down first thing Sunday, aye.
God, we'll be fucking mortal by the time we get on there.
Aye, we will be.
Near one start, but Maxi, will you, if you just come on? I'll be 24 cans deep on Guinness. I'll be in a reap mess.
So yeah,
really as well with Guinness.
So Mark is down on Friday. So Mark will be drinking first thing in the morning Saturday.
Stay away from him. Then.
Just generally speaking,
I'm a very
sage advice.
Very friendly drink.
I know.
Unless you annoy us.
We
have a flag in front of you.
me and Decker are driving down. Well, we're not driving, but we are in the car on the way down
Just
Saturday. So me and Decker will be having a few.
Yeah,
so we'll probably be as drunk as you when we meet up with you, Mark.
The amount of piss stops isn't going to be funny, but yeah, I cannot wait.
Bottle of
we drove
Oasis.
to Norwich, right?
Bottle of Oasis.
Pringles.
That's what you need.
So we drove to Norwich and we went to the services. I was driving this time, so went to the service. Decker had a piss. 2 minutes later, I just in the back of the car. Another 2 minutes. I need another piss. I had to pull over on the side of the motorway.
Once I've
so you could
started,
just piss.
I'll have to get an Oasis or
Oasis bottle,
Pringles.
because it's got a
Tube of
nice wide
Pringles.
brim. You can get it in.
Does that
It works. No, that's surprisingly piss tight.
Really,
Is it actually?
I remember Birmingham away in the cup when we got B5-1 in the replay, going down to Wayne, Mark's brother.
Okay.
He was just filling his Pringles and just tipping out the window.
Oh,
I mean, he was covered.
If you get one of the big Oasis,
He was
bottles,
covered in piss that
enormous,
night, like.
like,
But
if it holds
he
you
was.
on.
I went clubbing. He was absolutely covered in piss, like. But
So hang on, talk us through this before we should be wrap this up. I want to know
the
this. Right?
Pringles opening's too. You need a wide opening to get it in.
Pringles is huge.
is there something wrong with you?
I thought he was because it was too small.
Pringles, it's quite.
We're talking about horses again here.
Pringles is big on that can. It's massive.
That's what I mean. So it's like, but
Yeah,
do you not think it's too? You like?
No, you just what you're swinging it for?
Are you washing it?
What's what you're saying? Because the Oasis, but we should obviously got a wider.
Oasis has got a wider top than like one of them. That's what it's called.
Cheers, YouTube.
Everybody calls it that.
But yeah, with bottle of Oasis, I get what you're saying. But with Pringles, you can't just balance it on there. Then just piss. But yeah,
But it's just. It's like, why? What's the problem here? Because it's like,
I just think it's too wide.
when you get the toilet, I just think, like you haven't got that.
It depends who's driving the bus.
You don't have that stabilizer in the toilet.
right, we're going because this has gone over the hill.
We'll continue this on Sunday, lads.
Thanks everybody. We'll see you more through the week. We'll have one match preview. We've got special stuff coming this week as well.
What about this one?
We're gonna have to go on we're gonna have to go on Daily Motion or something from now on.
Right. Thanks everybody. See you later. Bye. You fucking...